Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Kevin with survivalistboards.com. Take a few minutes and let's talk about stockpiling canned goods and why I no longer stockpile the canned goods. So let's go back 25 years. Let's tilt that camera down just a little bit more. There we go. Let's go back to 25 years. Let's go back to the early 1990s. The vast majority of my food stockpile in the early 1990s was canned goods and then stuff like beans and rice, pinto beans, few oats, stuff like just your basic over-the-counter consumer-grade products. Then, as my family grew, I started stockpiling more canned goods and more canned goods. It just became a hassle. I mean, you go to the store, you buy the stuff, take the old stuff out, put the new stuff in, just keep everything rotated. Made a video a few years ago about developing a can rotation system. I found these at the local big box mart. They're designed for soft drinks, but they also work good on stuff like corn and beans, and you just put them in the top and then they just roll right on down to the front. Simple, huh? I mean, what could be any more simple than that? Except when you're buying so many canned goods in bulk, I just couldn't use it. You buy what you eat, but there comes a point of where you're buying and stockpiling more than you eat on a regular basis. So if you eat, let's say, 10 cans of corn in a month, or 20 cans of corn in a month, and you buy 30, then the next month you buy 30, and the next month you buy 30, eventually you're going to have more corn than you can eat, and it eventually expires. You're going to say, well, Kevin, you could donate it to a food bank. And you're right, I could. I've given a lot of my canned goods away to friends, family members, stuff like that, people who needed it. Here's your flat of beans. But then I'm losing money. I don't like to lose money. And so this stuff here was the best after 3/12/31/2014. I mean, and here we are, 2017, April of 2017. So comes a point of where you can only stockpile X amount of canned goods, and I found myself doing that, and it was expiring, going past the best buy date before I could eat it all, or my family could eat it all. I am still stockpiling canned goods, but not near in the number that I was. Instead of stockpiling a couple of months of canned goods and just having more than I could eat or my family could eat, some of it expiring, I'm only buying a few cans of canned goods here and there and only just keeping a few on hand. And same as far as my dried foods, like this Mylar bag of pinto beans, dated 3/31/2011. Instead of just keeping rice and beans in the bags, in their factory store-bought bags, I started getting the beans and putting them in Mylar bags. And if they're sealed right, or if they're sealed good and they don't have any holes poked in them, sometimes like macaroni and cheese or something will get a hole poked in it because of the sharp edge. Oxygen absorber kept inside of it, or 2 oxygen absorbers, and stored inside of a closet, climate controlled area. This is good for 20-25 years. In the past 25 years, I've gone from your just over-the-counter stuff to a Mylar bag to freeze-dried. And this stuff here has got a 30-year stored properly. You can't leave it out in a shed out in the backyard in 100-110 degree summers and expect it to last that long. Thus, if you keep it in a climate-controlled condition, it has a estimated 30-year lifespan, best by December 2046. So the reason why I went from canned goods that have not life expectancy, but a best by date of just 2 or 3 years, to something like the freeze-dried broccoli that's got a 25-year shelf life. As far as the canned meats, I'm still buying canned meats. And I know it's not that great for you. I know it's, hey Kevin, that's what they scrape off the floor. Hang on. Excuse me. But the stuff lasts relatively forever. I mean, this is the 25% less sodium. I'm going to get some of the regular sodium ones. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm phasing out the stuff that has a very limited lifespan, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, for stuff that has a 20-year shelf life, 25, 30-year shelf life, 30-year shelf life, 25-year shelf life. I think it's a little unfair to say that I'm just phasing out like the canned goods. Is that I'm not just phasing this out entirely. I'm not phasing it out entirely. I'm just buying less of it, and I'm replacing it with renewable food sources, such as my chickens and the eggs. And I've got my fig trees coming up. I got my pear trees coming up. I hope that explains a little bit better. I'm not just phasing out the canned goods. Is that I'm still buying a few of them, but just not in the quantity that I did. And I'm replacing them with other items, such as freeze-dried food, food stored in Mylar bags, and renewable food sources. Anyway, guys and gals, I hope that helps out, and I will talk to y'all later.